All right. Welcome, everyone, on behalf of ASI. My name is Allie Fulton-Kern. I'm the Public Programs Coordinator at ASI. And welcome to our third panel session of the day. This is our Wear Every Day section as part of our Julmarknad celebration this year. If you've never been to Julmarknad before, or if this is your first time joining us, Julmarknad is our winter market, our annual winter market. It is our biggest event of the year, and we were challenged to think about it a little differently this year. And so one of our favorite things, and I know a lot of people's favorite things about Julmarknad, are getting to know the artists and the special conversations that come out of that and seeing everyone's unique booths set up. So we were hoping to recreate it a little bit virtually this year. So I hope you enjoy it. Leading the conversation today is Andrea Osland. Andrea is a board member of ASI. She's also a jewelry designer, and she's an accessories buyer for Target.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome, Andrea.
Thanks. Thanks, Allie. Everybody, welcome. Really excited to be here and be chatting with these great designers today. We are going to start with Anne Maid in Minnesota, who is an enamel jewelry designer. Anne, would you like to tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I am based in Chanhassen. I'm sitting in one of 3 spaces I've taken over in my house to run this business. I've been doing enamel work for about 6 years. I do immersion enamel, which is different than kiln enamel. It's a little faster, and I like that element. The heat is the real secret sauce when you do that, and I just love what I do.
Thanks, Anne. Your enameling is really beautiful. Can you tell us more about that process that you described? You said it was different than kiln enameling. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
I have a prop. So I use a mandrel, and I have a really much bigger piece than I normally use, and I put this into a torch. I'm not going to do that right now because it's super loud. So once this glows red, I dip it into a pot of crushed glass. And this looks very white, right? But in reality, when you have the heat, it becomes this really dark pink. Beautiful. And so hence that color chart behind me is a very important tool, because if I don't know, what it's going to look like when I'm done, I end up with a lot of dud pieces, and I don't want that. But this is just a fascinating, fast process that it's so much fun.
That is really neat. So do all the enamel powders start off as white then, or do they vary in color?
No. Some of them look kind of like what they're supposed to look like, but about half of them don't look anything like what you would expect. So it's, cool.
And I also noticed on your website that you add texture to some of the pieces. How is that?
I do.
Process?
I use a coarser glass called Frit for one version, and that leaves a real bumpy surface. But then I have another little prop. I add ceramic decals, and if you can see the texture on that, that was actually a wrapper of a lotion bottle that I really loved the pattern. So I scanned it in and manipulated that and made that into my decal. Those are applied after the enamel has cooled. You let it dry overnight, you bring it back into the heat, the paper burns off, and the iron and the ink fuses into the glass.
Beautiful.
So it's like science, but.
Very cool. What are your favorite items for gifting this time of the year? I noticed that on your website, I really like the rainbow ornaments. I thought those were really unique. Yes.
So these, yes, which are very fun. And I've had a lot of people tell me, not only for your tree, but to hang in a window or in, your workspace. We've also had a great reaction to the agate pieces, which are the same, really fun as an ornament. And then something I never thought I would be doing, but I am, are the match your mask and earring combos, which have been a great seller for us because of course we're all masking up and we might as well mask in style. So I have several on my website which have just all different kinds of earrings that match your either very literal or just the colors.
That's a great gift. Thank you.
It is a great gift, and it's like, useful and fun.
Definitely. Well, thanks so much. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us before we move on to the next panelist?
No, I don't think so. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, Anne. Our next panelist is Stitches by Karen. Karen, are you on? Okay, if we don't have Karen, we'll move on to Laurie, Jacoby, Original Designs.
Hello.
Hi, Laurie. How are you?
How are you?
Great. And you and your partner, Mary Jane, will both be covering Laurie Jacoby Designs today. Is that correct?
Right. She'll speak after I do.
Fantastic. And so you design wool blankets, pillows, and capes, and a few other accessories. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Well, what we do is I was going to start here, but now the sun's coming in. But I've been designing blankets for the last 28 years, and they're all inspired by nature. Our blankets are made for us at the Pendleton Woolen Mills, and then Mary Jane makes clothing out of the blankets. And we pay attention to every detail, to fit, and to even the buttons, which I have made in Sweden by a manufacturer that's been making medals and buttons since the 1600s. So everything has a story. I start with a story that inspires me about nature, and then I design the fabric to match that. So we've got Odin's ravens, and we've got the runestone, we've got the snowflake or the helm of awe blanket. So we have blankets and we have clothing, and we have smaller pieces this year, like little laptops that you can put on your lap when you're outdoor dining this winter. We also have towels that I designed that are made by Ekelund in Sweden. And this one was called the Angel Towel. It has angels on it from a floor in an ancient church in Sweden near the well of St. Bridget, and a little prayer that I found in the forest by her well. And I make pillows out of the fabric. This is our cat pillow, and it actually purrs when you press it. Different shapes. We have heart pillows as well. Again, keeping the Swedish tradition of fret folk, the little wheat people that people had traditionally made in Sweden to carry around with them to take their worries off their shoulders. These are our wheat women, taunts, and they feature some of our fabrics, and they each have a little story with them as well.
I love that design.
Thanks. And we have scarves. And Mary Jane will be telling you more about all the different things that she makes out of the fabric.
Thank you. Hi, Mary Jane, are you on?
I am. I'm here.
Hi. Oh, you have that beautiful birch bark pattern there. I was going to say that is probably my favorite pattern I saw on the website. It's really beautiful.
That's iconic. That's really our signature fabric is the birch bark, and we've rerun that a number of times.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about your process?
Sure. Laurie talked about her blanket design, and that's the palette that I have to start with is a blanket. And my challenge is to make beautiful clothing and stay true to her blanket design. And so here I have a jacket that's Odin's Ravens, which is one of the 5 fabrics we have available. And this is actually my jacket. I actually got a new jacket this year, which is, I'm like the shoemaker's kids. And then here's a scarf that coordinates with the jacket. And then as the pieces get smaller from the larger clothing manufacturer, I make mittens. I make little bags that have Japanese kimono silk lining. Again, Laurie's custom buttons. We have about, I don't know how many patterns, maybe 30 different patterns, different styles and lengths of vests, indoor, outdoor jackets, coats of several lengths and styles. We really try to fit real world bodies. You know, we have a whole variety of shapes so that hopefully we can make everybody happy with some style or other. We have an expert pattern maker, Maybeth Sheridan, who's a friend from college, an expert seamstress. We can give her a design of a garment on a napkin And she can take that and she can translate that into a piece of clothing. She's just really marvelous. And so I have all the different sizes from extra small through extra large, standard. And I also do some custom. If I need to make adjustments for you, sleeve length, overall length, other kinds of adjustments, I can also do that. And then this year, we've also gone to masks. I can't remember if Laurie showed you the mask or not. She had her, couple of her fabric designs had Spoonflower make fabric for us. So in light of what's going on in the world, we want to keep everybody safe. And we regret that we can't meet people in a group at a trunk show because that's great energy for us. But I am willing to see people at my house in Chanhassen or at Laurie's house in Minneapolis. We can be distanced and wear masks. And then I have to take measurements if you want to order a piece of clothing. We do have capes, which are one size, which you can order off the website. Any of the bags, any mittens, pillows, a whole variety of items. But when it comes to fit, I need to meet and measure people to get that correct. And then I also include a fitting with that before I finish off the garment. So it's a certain amount of running around, but it's an heirloom kind of piece, something that we call it practical luxury, something that will last a long time and that you can feel really good about. And people seem willing to go to that extra effort, and I'm happy to do that because I am a perfectionist.
Fantastic, really beautiful pieces. And I think a lot of great gift options there too. Those mittens that you held up are just beautiful. I think I would love to receive
things reasonably priced, so that there's something for everybody.
Thank you so much, Laurie and Mary Jane.
Yeah, everything's finished in ultra suede trim, I should mention, and then Laurie's custom buttons as well.
Those buttons are quite beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up, we have Briggs and Craft Knits. Mayan, are you on? If we don't have Mayan from Briggs Craft and Knits, we're going to move on to Tesoro. Deborah, are you on?
Yep. Hi.
Hi, Deborah.
Welcome to my studio.
Thank you. So would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and your business? You make jewelry?
It was a business started very serendipitously. Never really started out with the idea I want a jewelry business. I was a painter and just had picked up some birch bark and started, I don't know, the inspiration just came to me and I wanted to wear it, bring a little bit of the forest back and have it on me. And so the first pair of Tesoro earrings actually was probably made over 35 years ago.
Wow.
So, and it's, I've developed my design sensibility through the use of this singular material in combination with sterling silver and copper and gemstones, but it's all developed around the birch bark and how to handle an organic material, which has its own technical difficulties in working with. But the line was definitely, it grew up around the bark, the beautiful bark, and it's always an inspiration. And a lot of the collections, I actually use the lichen found on the bark as part of the design. It's in a very painterly process. I sort of lift the bark off of various, or the lichen off of various pieces of birch bark, and then we'll make compositions. So it's not found composition. So it's a little bit of manipulation with the natural material, but only birch material. People try to give me other bark and it just doesn't inspire me. I'm like, I'm just a birch lady. And that's, it's just got endless possibilities. It's very light and durable. Everything is coated with acrylic polymer and it holds up super well. And I've been doing the jewelry as a full-time business for over 23 years.
Just beautiful pieces. I love birch bark. I grew up in northeastern Minnesota, so I'm very familiar with the birch forest. Where are you based again?
Minnetonka.
Okay, wonderful.
And all of the bark comes from outside of the Duluth area, up around Lake Superior. For years, we've worked with a birch logger and his family business, and we go into where they've been cutting commercially. And usually there's lots fallen, or even the things they couldn't use commercial because they were dead. And actually the dead tree is the easiest and best bark for me to work with. I don't do the native process of the live bark. I'm not, that's just not where I've started with. So I use the bark after it's dried a little bit or is dead, and am able to cut. It's actually very physical work. You have to cut all the layers off of the tree. It has to be under weights for 6 months. So
Wow.
you can get these nice flat surfaces to work with. So yeah, there's quite a technical process before it's ready to be made into the jewelry.
That's really unique. That's really great. Thank you for sharing. Are there any particular favorite pieces that you'd say are great gifts this year? Or would you say just in general?
Yeah. Well, this year, my Nordic collection has always been my most popular collection. And in that collection, I feature mainly the beauty of the bark, the reverse side of the bark, which is the coppery brown color. You can see, it's hard to see you can see it easily online on my website. And this year, 2020, I designed the house series, which takes no explanation. No explanation needed. So I really think they're really super appropriate gifts for this year as kind of a commemorative of what we're all going through. Everybody has a private story of maybe tragedy even. So I think my house series pieces, they're in the new section on the website or under Nordic collection pieces, are a great deal. Everything comes beautifully boxed, ready for gift giving, carded. So it's nice that way. We always have the complimentary shipping. And for today, we do have a special code. Would I be able to give that here, a code for just anyone watching now? No one else has the code. It's a 20% off code for ASI20. You put that in when you've got the shopping cart loaded off of any amount that you want to order today. And that's always fun to have a discount.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And then Allie had also put your link to your website or the website address into the chat for those of you who are wondering where to find the website address.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Deborah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We are going to move next to Greta Pearl. Greta, are you on? We don't have Greta. We will move on to Catherine Schoenher.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm probably saying your name completely wrong.
No, that's fine. You said it fine.
Welcome. And you do, my pronunciation, is it Sami or Sami inspired woven jewelry?
Sami.
Sami, thank you. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure. I started making these about 8 years ago. I took a class up at North House Folk School. And about 1,000 bracelets later, I'd say it's become a obsession or passion. I'm not sure, but I really enjoy making them. The bracelets are made from coiled pewter that I get from Sweden. This material has been made for close to 600 years. And the Sami people are nomadic people who follow the reindeer up in the Arctic Circle. And they've used this pewter, coiled pewter, for adorning their reindeer's clothes, their own clothes, and making jewelry. And I have been making lots of different styles and coming up with different designs, which you can find on my website. But I really enjoy a challenge of making different braids, challenging different pieces. Some of them I wonder why I make, but I really like just making different braids and coming up with different designs.
Really beautiful. I love the different patterns, the way that they're woven. I also noticed that you saw on your website that you traveled to Sweden and Norway to learn more about the Sami. Can you tell us a little bit about that trip?
Sure. In fact, I encourage anybody to go. I took a tour with Vesterheim, and Harley Ruffsall was the leader that it was specifically for Sami land. So we spent about 2 weeks in the Arctic Circle. And on my website, I have several, if you're interested in learning more about this process, I have several pictures from the museums I went there and some of the older techniques that they use to make the quilled pewter. But we got to visit with Sami families. We went to their parliament. It's like being in northern Minnesota or Wisconsin, where it's not uncommon to see deer running around. You would just have reindeer running down the street, next to our tour bus. And we went in the middle of the summer, so it was light out until 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was a wonderful trip. And Vesterheim does a great job on their tours.
That sounds great. That sounds like a really great experience. Are there any particular designs that you would say are great for gifting this time of year, or some that are more popular than others?
I have a lot of different designs. I only have 15 featured on my website, but right now I've been working with people. So if they have something in mind, different colors or different patterns, people can email me and we can create something together. And I also can just email people pictures of what I already have made and the size available. But I have price points from $60 up to $200. So a lot of variety, and yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Catherine.
You're welcome. Thanks for doing this. This was wonderful.
We are going to move on to Stitches by Karin next. Karin, are you on?
Unmute. Okay.
Hi, Karin.
There we go. Okay, hi.
Hi. So you make hand knit and hand sewn accessories. Can you tell us a little bit about your business?
So I am born in Sweden. I came over here in '84. I have always been knitting and sewing since I was little, and just started this after my kids kind of grew up and left. So I do knit a lot. I hand knit and I machine knit. So actually I'm sitting in my office on my couch here. That's where I sit and hand knit. So I do a lot of different things. And so I buy some yarn from Sweden. I have here. So this is my Lovikka yarn. So this is actually a little bag. It does look like a hat, but it's a bag. So you can put your phone and that inside. And I just finished up making little muffs. So you can put your hands. They have pockets inside. So I have these things and a lot of different hats. This is my biggest seller of hats that kind of flips over to the back or to the front. I have if you need little gifts, I have little keychains. All the ribbons I buy, it's like going to a candy store. I buy that when I go to Sweden. And like a lot of other people, I started to make masks. So I have these.
It's a beautiful dog print.
And then I bought the fabric and I thought the horses was too big, but I just put the horse on each side there. So,
oh yeah.
So I do those few different little things. So yeah, that's a few of the things that I have, and I have a lot more on my little website. I have a lot of other things that are maybe not typical Swedish in there too, but the Lovikka stuff is very typical. And I just made some mittens too that I put on there. So
I was going to say, I really liked the mittens a lot. They were really great. Those were something where I was like, I would love those as a gift.
Oh, It took me a long time actually to make those. I made the bag actually. That was the first thing I made when I was visiting my mom. I needed something to do because I didn't want to make two of something. So I just made one bag. But I know a lot of people have asked about mittens. They take a little longer time because I have to make two of them.
That makes sense.
I just put them on the website. I just made one size so far and we'll see how it goes.
They're beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And next up, we are going to move on to, sorry, I lost track of who we have here. Daughter. We are going to move on to Megan from Daughter.
Hi.
Hi, Megan. I think that we still have Karin focused on the screen, Allie. Well, hi, Megan. We can start talking to you, though. How are you?
Hi, I'm Megan. I'm
Hi.
Daughter Jewelry. So this is my little studio. Just a spare bedroom in my house. I'm down in Burnsville. So all of the magic happens right here at this little bench. So
Great. Would you love to tell us a little bit about your business?
yeah, absolutely. So I have been making things my whole life. It's definitely in my blood. I always want to be creating with my hands. So, you know, making jewelry from found hardware store items, making my own prom dress. I was knitting, I was sculpting, I was doing stuff. And then I went to school for fine art. So I focused more on 2D drawing and printmaking. So that's more of my artistic background. And then I, you know, in the process of furthering my different making techniques, I took a metalsmithing class. And that just kind of blew everything wide open for me. When I figured out I could translate my drawing into metal, it was just really life-changing. So I kind of started doing that and it turned into a business. People wanted to buy stuff. I was able to take it full-time in 2017. So I've been doing it since then. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And a bit about the jewelry itself. So I work with bronze and sterling silver. Every design that I make starts with a drawing. So this is my little pattern sheet for my, I don't know if the lighting is good, for my current collection, but I start everything drawn organically by hand. So there's a really tactile beginning to everything. And then those paper patterns are glued. I use rubber cement, put it directly onto large sheets of metal, so the bronze or the sterling silver. And then I hand cut everything with my jeweler saw. So you can't even see the blade. It's like hair's breadth in diameter. So I snap a lot of those, but everything is cut right here with this saw with my hands. So I think that is really special. It adds a lot of significance to it. There's, you know, it's a piece of me goes into everything. Every piece, even though I start with a pattern, is unique. There are little details that might vary from piece to piece. And I think that's part of the beauty of a handmade object. So
that's very delicate work, the hand sawing. I've done a bit of that myself. It takes a little while and you have to really pay close attention to what you're working on. So I think it's amazing that you're hand sawing everything yourself.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Any particular items that you would say are popular for gifting? I mean, I just love your statement earrings, the larger earrings, but I am a large earring person, but anything that in particular that you'd recommend?
So the new collection that I have out for the fall and winter, it's under its own section on my website. I'm really excited about that. So that's where I would direct people first. So it ranges from, you know, my big frond earrings, which you can't really see the texture very well, but they're kind of dimpled and, you know, hand worked after the hand cutting. They come in smaller sizes. So this is the regular size, but there's even a mini size that's smaller than this. So you can kind of cater it to anyone's preference. So this is an example of a regular versus a mini size of the Margate earring. So really it depends on who you're gifting to, but you probably know whether they're a statement earring person or a mini mask friendly earring person. I also do have a holiday section on my site, which has some of the ornaments that I make. I have a couple different designs. So if someone isn't a jewelry wearer, they can still adorn something in their house. And there are some snowflakes, doll horses, other things like that. So
Those are great. Thank you. I think both the large and small sizes are just wonderful. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And next we are going to move on to Julie from Stellar Handcrafted Goods. Julie, are you on? Do we have Julie? Oh, maybe she wasn't actually able to join. Let's see, I want to make sure we got everyone that we had join. Is there anyone that I left out? Mayan, did you ever get a chance to jump on from Briggs Craft Knits?
Andrea, I think that is everyone.
Okay.
If there is someone who is left, speak up now. Otherwise, I know that the one artist, I'm sorry, I didn't mention this at the beginning, that was not able to join us today for sure was Leslie Darling of Leslie Darling Fiber Arts. And so I'm going to, in the chat here, I'm going to put her shop information along with Julie Stellar from Stellar Handcrafted Goods and Briggs and Craft Knits, who also was unable to join us today. So you can find them in the chat. You can watch that down there. And then lastly, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And thank you to all of the artists. This has been such a fun day of seeing all of your studio spaces and all of your, hearing all of your processes and all of your craft. So thank you everyone for joining. And Andrea, thank you for being such a great host. Yeah.
This was really fun. Thanks everyone. And I feel like I have all these new gift ideas now where I have to go and buy some things for myself and others. So
yeah. And then I'm going to put one last link in the chat here, and I'll leave this up for a little bit so you guys can all have a minute to follow all of these links. But you can find all of our Julmarknad artists and shop from them at the link in the site in the chat, asimn.org/virtual Julmarknad. And it does look like Julie is on. Oh, there is Julie.
I'm here.
Let's have what we have.
I glitched my time. I went on and then somebody walked into the shop.
hi, Julie.
Hi. Sorry, I'm tardy.
It's okay. You're from Stellar Handcrafted Goods and you make apparel, accessory, and gifts.
Yep.
From upcycled items. Would you like to talk a bit about your process and your business?
Sure. Well, you can see behind me, here's my raw materials, are all of these sweaters. And then they get, when we buy them, then we wash them or sanitize them in the dryer. And then I'm going to see if I can turn you around here because I can show you. I had a pair that I cut out of cutouts. Every pair of mittens has 3 sweaters in it. And this one is one of our classic Nordic designs, which are so popular that we're totally sold out of them. But then they get sewn together and they become a pair of mittens like this with a fleece lining and a Nordic button. And this is my actual work table, which I'm afraid has sort of become the shipping table right now, which is good. And we, of course, ended up having to pivot big time to face masks. And I thought it'd be fun to show you some of ours. Rick, who runs the shop at American Swedish Institute, helped me choose all these fabrics. So we're sort of your go-to person for Nordic fabric face masks, which sadly we still need. And then we use our gorgeous Swedish ribbon to make lanyards so that you can wear your mask around your neck and you don't have to run around when the doorbell rings and say, "Where's my mask? Where's my mask?" So this sweater I'm wearing is one that dodged the bullet. It came to us in a hand-me-down bag and it fit me. So we don't cut up every sweater that we find, but it's very, very happy work. And this is our little shop. And it's, I was in my basement until a year ago. So you can imagine how happy my family was when this all got moved out into the Waterbury building in Northeast Minneapolis. And we have a little store right in the front of the studio. So there was a gal just in here. She snuck away when I picked up the phone. Oh, there she is. See, we have customers. She just moved here from Massachusetts. And what was lovely today, an older lady came. She was 85. I looked at her and I said, "I recognize you." Well, guess from where? The Swedish Institute. It was Marianne, and she'd seen me written up in the paper, and she came to buy mittens for a friend. And we sat down and talked about ASI and had a little love fest here.
Great place for making connections, right?
Yep, it was. It was really wonderful. So I appreciate ASI so much. I was at the very first Julmarknad that we ever had, and it was in a tent outside. So this shows you a little bit of our little shop if anybody wants to come out and check us out. So
that's great. Quickly, anything in particular that you would highlight as a gift? I saw your mini mitten garland and I thought it was the cutest thing ever.
It really is. I'll show you a packaged of one. Well, you can see here, this one is strung up, but we make, the little mittens are like this. We make these out of our scraps. We just can't bear to throw away these little scraps. So we have individual ornaments, or we have the garland that has 8 ornaments on it. And they all have little tiny antique buttons on them because
Cute.
I love tiny things.
Well, thank you.
So it's happy work.
I'm glad you were able to join us at the last minute.
I've been getting ready all day. How did I turn up late? I don't know. My children are all rolling their eyes right now, I can tell.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate all you guys so much and all the wonderful people I've met through ASI.
Allie, was anybody else able to join? Or do we feel like that was everybody now?
No, I think that was everyone. So once again, big round of applause for all of you. Thank you so much for joining, and for those listening. We have one more of the day that starts at 2. I hope you can join us for that. But yeah, thanks for celebrating our virtual Julmarknad Day with us. See you all.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.